Enter the vivid kaleidoscope of beautiful landscapes, magnificent archaeological sites, dense forests flourishing with wildlife, pristine beaches, rivers, art, and natural heritage. A land of mystery, of ancient temples unearthed from the dunes of sea sand, of colorful tribes whose culture is frozen in time, the sacred ground of Mahayana Buddhism, a land bustling with possibilities, Orissa, the divine land.
Hi, I'm Kim Jagtiani and I am here in Orissa. It is a lush green state that lies along the eastern seaboard of India with the Bay of Bengal on one side and thickly wooded eastern Ghats on the other. This state is really famous for its ancient temples and monuments as well as its many Indian traditional art forms.
I'm here in Orissa for the next couple of weeks to explore this diverse and vibrant state. During this time, I plan to travel extensively and see as many places as possible. And today, I'm starting my journey from Konark, which is one of the most famous destinations here.
I'm at the absolutely spectacular Sun Temple, which in many ways marks the grandest achievement of Orissan style of architecture and is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This temple is about 3 kilometers from the sea, but originally at one time the ocean almost came up to its base. In fact, European sailors even referred to it as the Black Pagoda and also used it as a navigational point. Konark is named after its presiding deity, Kona meaning corner and Arka meaning sun, Konark meaning sun's corner.
A pair of colossi, 2 lions, each rampant on a crouching elephant, originally guarded each of the 3 staircases of the porch.
This pillared hall on a high platform is a detached structure that is generally believed to be a festive hall. The sculptures on the pillars depict a carnival of music and dance, which reflects the rhythms of life. A modern flight of steps leads up to the sanctum. However, parts of the roof had caved in a long time ago. Inside, the pedestal is said to have been found empty while cleaning the debris. It is said that the deity has been moved to the Jagannath temple because the structure is now extremely weak and has been filled with sand and sealed on all sides to prevent further damage and collapse.
The Konark temple was conceived as a huge and colossal chariot drawn by 7 galloping horses. The horses were made in such a way that Surya, the sun god himself, drove this chariot, with his place being inside the sanctum.
Each horse represents a day of the week, and the 12 wheels arranged along the base of the temple represent the 12 months. The wheels on the eastern side of the temple also make effective sundials.
There are many amorous couple themes carved on these temple walls. It was believed that the male absorbs virtue and youth from the female. We can also see several sexo-yogic postures sculpted here. Konark is a sensory carnival. It has an interesting mix of the exotic and the erotic. It's a monument of overwhelming grandeur and a place that one must visit at least once in this lifetime. From here, I'm headed to Puri, which is about 35 kilometers away. Puri is considered to be one of the 4 most sacred pilgrimage spots for Hindus and has been so for centuries. Known to be the seat of Lord Jagannath, who is also known to be the Lord of the universe, Puri attracts millions of devotees around the year. This is Puri Beach. Thousands of pilgrims come here to take a dip in its waters, which are said to be holy and blessed. This is also considered to be a purifying ritual, which is performed before heading towards the Jagannath temple.
Jagannath Temple is the largest temple in the state, covering an area of over 10 acres. Within the compound is like a universe in itself. There are over 6,000 temple servitors, and the temple kitchen is one of the biggest in the world, serving over 10,000 people daily.
The principal deities here are Krishna, his brother Balabhadra, and sister Subhadra. They're revered by millions of pilgrims who come to seek Lord Jagannath's blessings.
In fact, the Mahaprasad, or the spiritual food, is first offered to Lord Jagannath and then to goddess Bimla. Only then is it given to the devotees. It is said that even a single bite of the Mahaprasad can lead to spiritual liberation. It's a beautiful evening on Puri Beach. A lot of families out here enjoying the sunset, taking camel rides, horse rides, playing with their children. There are fishermen coming in with their catch of the day. But all this you can pretty much find anywhere in India. What's really unusual on Puri Beach is that sculptors get together to turn this place into an open-air art gallery.
Sand art has been synonymous to Puri for centuries, and many believe that it actually originated from here. Unlike many ancient traditions, this one has not only survived, but is also flourishing. This beach has a really unique charm of its own. The mornings are completely sun-soaked in religious fervor, while the evenings have a really relaxed vibe. It's easy to just become a part of the crowd or find a spot to watch the waves as the sun goes down. Coming up is Raghurajpur, a lovely artisan's village, and a visit to one of Orissa's most beautiful beaches in Gopalpur. The countryside in Orissa is gorgeous, and driving from one place to another is what makes this journey even more pleasurable. I've just stopped by a rustic, idyllic little village called Raghurajpur. It lies along the southern bank of Bhargavi River, and as you can clearly see, it's absolutely gorgeous. There are fruit groves everywhere, it's green, it's lush. But the actual reason I'm here is because of what this village is famous for. It's handicrafts. Some of the finest pieces of art are found right here in this humble little village. Raghurajpur's Pattachitra is an age-old tradition that is still practiced by the Chitrakars and their womenfolk. The word Patta means painting on cloth, and Chitra means painting or picture. So Pattachitra literally means a painting on cloth. These Chitrakars or painters first settled in Raghurajpur around the 12th century, and that's about the same time Jagannath temple was being constructed. In fact, there's a close link between the temple and the Chitrakars because they actually helped the ritualistic activities of Lord Jagannath, especially during the Rath Yatra. The Rath Yatra or the Chariot Festival is one of the largest annual festivals in India, during which Lord Jagannath goes on vacation from his temple in Puri to his palace in the countryside. He's accompanied by his sister Subhadra and brother Balabhadra. The journey is taken in grand-sized chariots that are embellished with intricate artwork, most of which is done by artists from Rajpur.
Right here in Rajpur are also a handful of artists who are trying against all odds to keep the ancient Indian game of Ganjappa alive. Ganjappa, or the game of cards, was once a pastime of the royalty and was ranked higher than chess and dice. Researchers believe that Ganjappa was brought to India by the Mughals, and ever since, many different variations have been developed. It's really exciting to see so much artwork happening right in front of you. I can't take any of this for granted ever again. Look at how much work and time and effort that goes into the littlest thing. This painter has a really steady hand, and he's painting the idols of Lord Jagannath, his sister Subhadra, and his brother Balabhadra.
There's just one more thing left on my list before I leave Rajpur, and that is to explore the living tradition of a performing art that is known as Gotipua. Gotipua means single boy, and it's a beautiful dance form that originated in the 14th century. It's here in Rajpur that one can find some of the best Gotipua gurukuls. Young boys from neighboring villages are sent to the Gurukul to seek training directly from the Guru. The boys need to be at least 4 years old and go through rigorous training for several years before they can become a Gotipua dancer.
बहुत अच्छा किया. Very good.
I'm now on my way to the eastern coast of Orissa, which is famous for its beautiful beaches. This is a lovely laid-back seaport town called Gopalpur on sea. It was once a buzzing and prominent trading port of the East India Company, but once the British left, Gopalpur reverted to being a calm and relaxed place with a distinct charm of its own. This town is famous for having one of the most pristine beaches in Orissa. But don't expect to find sunbathers or cool shacks around here. This place is purely for people who love serenity, the ocean, and peace. One of the most prominent landmarks in Gopalpur is the lighthouse. It's 42 meters high and was built in 1871 for assisting coastal shipping between Rangoon and the Coromandel coast. After all of these years, the lighthouse still functions properly. In fact, it's also become a sort of a major tourist attraction here.
Oh, wow. Absolutely breathtaking. This has to be the best view in Gopalpur.
From here, we can get a 360-degree view of Gopalpur and can see a small portion of Chilika Lake.
The sea, although, looks too tempting to resist. This place is perfect to have really long walks. And if you walk long enough, you could reach the old jetty right here. Although this beautiful port is in ruins, it was from here that ships set sail to Indonesia and Rangoon for trade hundreds of years ago. Just being here revives the romance of a bygone era.
Stay tuned. I'm going to visit the ancient temples in Bhubaneswar, and then I'm off to the stunning Chilika Lake. Next on my route is the capital of Orissa, Bhubaneswar, which is also known as the City of Temples. Bhubaneswar literally means the abode of God. Bhuvan meaning palace, and Ishwar meaning God. This city still preserves over 500 of India's finest temples, which showcase centuries of temple architecture. Although I can't possibly visit each and every temple here, I do plan to begin with some of the most significant and famous ones, like the Mukteshwar temple.
The small and elegant Mukteshwar temple dates back to 950 AD, and it is often referred to as the miniature gem of Orissan architecture. Besides its beauty, it is also an important transition point between early and later phases of the Kalinga school of temple architecture. It has a successful combination of old elements mixed with new concepts and designs. In fact, some of the innovations created right here became essential features of the temples built later. That is why it is known as the harbinger of the new culture.
Muktidata Gupteswara Asiti Ajimu Mandire Dukha Nivarina Saere O Namah Shivaya O Namah Shivaya.
This temple is a treasure trove of sculptures. There are so many depictions of ascetics. Most of them are shown either teaching or in meditative poses. Also, around the windows of the Jagmohan is the Panchtantra, which are ancient Indian children's stories. There are niches containing Buddhist, Jain and Hindu images, which shows a wonderful synthesis of religious life in Orissa.
Next on my temple trail is the great Lingraj temple dedicated to Lord Shiva. It was built in the 11th century and apparently soars over the city. Wow. Incredible. Now I can see why the Lingraj represents Orissan architecture at its most mature stage. It's huge. Unlike many of the other temples in Bhubaneswar, the Lingraj is still a place of active worship. However, entry is strictly prohibited for non-Hindus. This viewing platform comes in handy for tourists and non-Hindus, and this is also the best place to enjoy the view of the temple. By the time the Lingraj temple was constructed, a cult called Purushottam had become predominant throughout Orissa. Evidence of this lies in the fact that the temple deity here is not strictly a Shivling, but a Hariharaling, which means half Shiva, half Vishnu. This is a great example of the syncretic nature of Orissan religion. I really wish cameras were allowed in here. I would love to capture this and take it home.
Later that night, after exploring the city, I decided it was time to try a proper Oriya meal. I'd heard a lot about the traditional cuisine at the Mayfair Lagoon and dropped by to grab a bite.
Let the feast begin. Bon appetit, or as they say in Orissa, Subho Bhojan.
The next morning, I began my journey to Chilika Lake. It's about 100 kilometers from Bhubaneswar.
I've just arrived in Chilika, and now that I'm actually here, I can understand what everyone meant when they said, this lagoon is absolutely massive. And it is. In fact, it's Asia's largest brackish water lagoon, covering an area of over 1,100 square kilometers.
Chilika is a highly productive lagoon ecosystem and has rich fishery resources, which sustain the livelihood of thousands of fisher folk who live in and around these waters.